Hi besties and welcome back to another build on Kitsune. Today we are working on the rice fields. This was one of those builds for this island that I had planned before I even started the island. I just automatically knew I wanted to do this build. And honestly, I have to say this is like literally the most easy build I have done on the island so far. So if you're working on a theme that's similar to this, or even if you just want to do like a farming area on your island, I feel like this would be a super easy one that fills up a pretty good amount of space. And yeah, did I mention it's actually so easy? So I basically just started by terraforming these little like 3x3 squares and then just putting a single little area of water around them, and of course rounding out the corners for the water, but not rounding off the corners for the like land part in the middle so that the custom codes will fit on the way that I want them to. All of the codes that I use on this island are linked in my Pinterest under Japanese inspired island, and my Pinterest is linked in my bio. I know I've been a little bit lazy about saving codes, but I tried so hard to get as many of them linked in that board as I possibly could, and this rice field code is definitely there for you guys to grab if you're wanting to use it. I do end up time traveling to a different time, so you'll see that at the end of the video that we get out of this like weird hazy like overcast type of weather, and I move back to like September time because the grass is just so much more green and I just think it looks so much better. I ended up putting the campsite here as well, just kind of to give this build like a focal point in the background. Honestly, the campsite is pretty crammed into this build, and I have to admit that it really doesn't fit with the farm theme, but we're just gonna kind of ignore that and roll with it because I didn't know what else to do with the campsite on this island. So you'll have to kind of just like give me some grace there. I'm hoping you will. But yeah, I think it turns out super cute in the end, so we just kind of have to like persevere with some of the initial awkwardness. And then I placed this like really winding path down the center, which I think looks so cute. It kind of just gives it like a more, I don't know, kind of like rustic kind of feel. And since the rest of the island is all pretty city oriented, I really like having these more like kind of natural builds. And you can see where like the brick path is laid, like this is right next to the city. So I had to do something to kind of give us a better transition. And then I'm laying down this iron fencing along the back, and then I end up putting the hedges in front of it just because I feel like it makes it look like, I don't know, it just like gives you a nice little barrier between like the grassy part and the ocean behind it. I just feel like it gives like good structure to the build. I've done this a lot on all of my Animal Crossing islands, and I'm pretty sure that this is my 11th Animal Crossing island that I've done. So yeah, I definitely have learned along the way like certain things that I just really enjoy the look of, and layering the fences is definitely one of them. And then I place the pine trees on either side so that we have a little bit of symmetry going on. That's another thing I really like to do on my Animal Crossing islands, is add in some degree of symmetry into the build, just because I think it helps to make everything a little bit more cohesive. And then I'm just starting to kind of play around with some items here, like not really thinking too much about like what I want to go where. I do end up kind of like moving things around, and you'll see that later in the build, but just kind of like going with the flow. One of the hardest parts about this build in particular is that it is like a sunken little valley, and there are like cliffs all around it, and then the incline goes down. So like the perspective of the build was a little bit hard. I was trying to use items that would be like taller in the back, so, and then like shorter in the front, so that when you're standing on the incline, like things aren't blocked from your view, if that makes sense. So you'll see I keep running back to the front to kind of check and see like how things are looking. And yeah, I definitely think that that was the hardest part of this build. And then I'm going to be placing like a few little random items on each of these like little rice field plots. And this is honestly the most fun part, is just like sprinkling these little like little things here and there. I just think it turns out looking so cute without very many items or very much effort. So yeah, this would definitely be a super fun build to try if you just reset your Animal Crossing island and you don't have like a lot of items to decorate with. Maybe you're doing an island where you're not using treasure islands and you're trying to do everything organically. Like I just don't feel like this one actually requires that much stuff to make it look cute. So, but yeah, Also, if you're watching this, the Switch 2 probably came out pretty recently, and I'm so curious. I know we've previously talked about the Switch 2 here on this channel, and I previously mentioned that I'm not planning on getting that console until they release the next Animal Crossing game. And I have to say, like, I'm somebody who tends to get pretty bad FOMO when things are released, especially when it has to do with like my special interests, so like Nintendo, Animal Crossing, etc. And I have to say, I really didn't get any FOMO at all this time when the Switch 2 is released. Like, I'm really not interested in it at all. Like, literally not even a single amount of my brain is interested in the Switch 2, which is so strange because ordinarily I would be just so excited for the release of another console, but I don't know, I just feel like it's not different enough from the regular Switch or from the OLED to justify spending that much money. Now, that being said, as soon as the next Animal Crossing game comes out, I will be yeeting my money at Nintendo. Until that day comes, I'm gonna be the Switch 2's biggest hater. I think that it's ridiculous and so expensive, and I don't want to spend $90 for a physical copy of a game that I don't even technically own. I think that's crazy. Capitalism needs to seriously get a grip. I think I'm just entirely over it at this point. If you did buy the Switch 2, all of my sassiness aside, I would love to hear what you think about it. Maybe you guys can change my mind and take me out of my pessimism and convince me to buy it. But yeah, I would love to hear what your thoughts are, if your thoughts have changed now that the console is actually released, because I know a lot of us were not super excited. All of that yapping aside, we are getting pretty close to the end of this build. I'm just trying to figure out what to do in these like in-between areas. Like I mentioned before, the perspective of this build was really messing with me. Like the way that these wheat fields look in the middle when I run back to the front, it's like they're too tall, and you see like it just doesn't look right, and it breaks up the view in this like really weird way. So I ended up removing those and then just trying to use like flatter items that would fill in the space but not like take away that perspective, if you know what I mean. But in the end, we totally end up making it work. I really love the way the flat rock looks in the middle, and then I'm just kind of like adding some height over on the sides of the build. Genuinely, you can't even really see what's going on over here, so I'm kind of just like filling this up pretty quickly and messily because again, you can't really see it, so it doesn't really matter. If you do end up recreating this build on your Animal Crossing island, I would absolutely love to see it. If you want to, we do have like an Animal Crossing channel in our Discord community, so if you're wanting to post like any screenshots from builds that you've done, or if you take inspiration from one of my builds and you want to share it, that would be a really great place to do it if you're not wanting to post on your social media. But if you do post it, please tag me because I would totally love to see if anyone attempts this. But yeah, here is the finished little area. I think it turns out so cute. It's really simple, but I think it fits this theme so well, and I'm really happy with it. Let me know what you think, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!